uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom. G'day PUBG Mobile, you big grubs. I'm Bushkin, and today's video is about the huge changes that are coming. The Mk47 Mutant and the M16A4, two ARs that are burst fire only at the moment, are going full auto, amigos. Full auto. That means tap, 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 tap may well be on the back burner for you, but there is a lot to be said about it before things happen. Now, the beta itself is only on round 2 at the moment. I can't get into it, but Hockey has sent me a massive amount of footage to break down and then to do a bit of data mining with. So I found out the rates of fire, the damages, the bullet speed. We're going to give you all those stats, and then I'm going to do a little bit of prognostication, projecting, and we're going to talk about what this means for these two weapons, what it means for the meta of PUBG Mobile, what it might mean for you as a player, and how you can both take advantage of some of the stuff that's coming up and maybe defend against. So without further ado, let's kick this thing off. Oh, and why don't you like the video and subscribe? And if you like this kind of content, leave a message saying so. Okay? How about that for an idea? First up, there's going to be a very simple way of getting this. It's much like the M249 or the DP28 shield that you can buy in the shop. You purchase it for 5 units of the in-game currency, the most famous PUBG Mobile bananas. It's like your cash, right? And when you equip that full auto mod right there, it goes in a special box. It doesn't take any of the current attachment slots on the weapon, and you immediately switch to full auto mode. Now, a couple of things about this. I think this is going to be a lot more useful for the M16A4 than it is for the Mk47 Mutant. And the reason I think that is because of what's going on screen at the moment with Hockey. He's showing you that the damage numbers are not changing. So that means that the M16A4 is really, really good at range. That's where it's best, in fact, is at range. The Mk47 Mutant is good up close, but there's already a 7.62 AR that is incredible up close. It has exactly the same damage numbers to head, to body, or chest as the Mk47 Mutant. And it also has that crazy ass limb damage. And I'm talking, of course, about the AKM. Now, this means that the AKM is not really going to be challenged as a primary slot 7.62 weapon. And in the secondary slot, I think the fact that you've got the SKS already and you can use that really effectively out to 300, 400 meters with an 8X on it, there's already a slot taken, okay? And it just isn't good enough recoil-wise. It's still got this crazy recoil where it's not going to push other things out sideways. Now, that is the current state of it. And you can see Hockey firing here with an M16. That is pretty interesting. That to me looks a lot more usable and a lot more worthwhile than the Mk47 Mutants. It's not full auto like a SCAR-L or a UMP. It's full auto like you tap firing, okay? As quick as you can. This is a clip of me going full auto in anger in-game at 2 players versus Hockey doing full auto on the beta. And it stops here. Now, I've fired 21 rounds of a 50 clip and Hockey has fired 22 rounds of a 40 clip in the same time period. And I think that's really important. They're not putting something that is incredibly game-breaking in. They're putting something that good players can already do at range. It's just going to allow you the ease of spraying. And what that means is it's going to be easier to deal with moving targets. It's going to be easier to suppress. It's going to be just all-round easier to use it in CQC. And that's where I think it's really going to have some value. So both these weapons, though, are going to be secondary slot weapons. Neither of them stands out to me as a primary slot weapon. I occasionally have a masochistic moment and decide I'm going to run the M16 full auto as a primary slot weapon in burst mode. And it goes predictably badly because I'm not Cappy Gaming. But it's doable. This is going to make it way more useful and it's going to play right into the meta. Now, what's the rate of fire? Well, I tested all the rates of fire out. And I can tell you that they're not exactly groundbreaking. So let's go through the stats now for the M16 and the Mk47 Mutant. Give you an idea on what you've got to look forward to, as long as nothing changes in the beta. and just maybe start talking a little bit about how this is going to play out in-game. Firstly, no changes to the damage. 40.9 is your base damage on the M16A4, but 476 rounds per minute is your rate of fire, and that equates to a 0.504 seconds time to kill on a level 2 vest, which is not very good. That's more than a Scorpion or a P18C. Hell, that's a lot, right? The Mutant now, let's do that, because it doesn't fare much better. It's got a very slow rate of fire. 339 rounds per minute is not a lot, but it does have obviously a much higher base damage of 47.9. And its time to kill is a whopping 0.531 seconds. That's very slow. That's pistol levels of slow. But I think it probably helps you to have some kind of comparison. So I'm going to show you the stats for the M416 and the AKM so you can compare them. And you'll start to understand why this isn't such a big deal, because these are not primary slot weapons. They don't get primary run now, and they never will at this rate. 40.9 and 47.9 are the same damage numbers, but the time to kill on both those guns is way lower. The 0.288 seconds on the AKM is particularly indicative of what the AKM does well. It's good for CQC. It's good for smashing up close. But the AK can also spray at 75 to 100 meters with a 3X. Like, it's not fantastic at it, but this is me doing it to win a chicken dinner. Like, this is not some weird, 18-fingered octopus of a kid who's 16 and killing everyone and 25 KDR. This is an old 50-year-old man. And the AK also has its 32.4 limb damage number, which the Mutant just doesn't get. So once you move past this range, well, maybe then the Mutant is worthwhile. Think about the other things the Mutant's competing with. And then have a look at Hockey on the range in the beta. This is with the Mutant in the beta running full auto. And you'll see, like, it's the M16 full auto, totally usable. You can prone with the M16, and it's a very viable weapon. The Mutant, I just don't know where its place is going to be, because when you start slapping with that Mutant at long range sprays, yeah, it ain't going to happen. It's wild. You can see you've got slow bullet speed, so it's less accurate. Like the Mutant has about 690 meters a second bullet speed, opposed to the 923 that Hockey's getting here out of the M16A4 on the beta. But the recoil is a rich and unforgiving mistress. As you can see here, it's wild, right? That's prone. Now, there are apparently some bugs with the recoil on the beta, so maybe that gets ironed out, but it still doesn't have the bullet speed. So I see the M16 competing with secondary slot weapons. It's going to be competing with an already overpowered Mini 14. It's going to be competing with SLRs and SKSs. It's going to be competing with M416s, no doubt, and SCAR-Ls. Because your primary slot weapon is still going to be your Uzi, your DBS, your UMP, your AKM, your Graza, your MG3, your Mark 14, whatever floats your boat. Neither of these guns are really in that studio space. But the M16A4, I mean, you can see here, you can use it in full burst right now, out to about 100 meters. But when you start using that up close, it becomes difficult. So I'll often switch to single tap. But then it's tough. So this is where the M16 is going to be really valuable. With a low recoil profile and outstanding bullet speed, it's going to be very easy to use, which is, it's nice. It's nice to see a gun that's going to get used by the player base that's not being used by the player base right now. And I think I still may actually sometimes just single tap, because single tapping is pretty cool. It works very, very well when you can get it to sit right. I mean, I don't know what his ping's doing, but it's pretty freaking wild. I'm going to check in on the beta again. I'm going to check in with Hockey to get more stuff. If you like this kind of content, hey, let me know. I mean, watch this. I know this guy's going to peak there. I know he's going to peak there. I time it perfectly, and it just drills him, right? Drills him. That's what the M16 does. It has no recoil, or not recoil worth a damn, and it has very, very good bullet speed. And I don't see the Mark 47 Mutant being able to compete with that. I don't really see the Mutant competing with anything. What I do like about this is that it will make the Mutant better. And I think that's a start. It's very difficult to balance every weapon in the game. It's very difficult to take a gun like the M16A4 and make it useful without making it overpowered. But I think from what I'm seeing, PUBG Mobile has done a very, very good job of that. And I'm actually very hopeful that these changes in this beta go through and they become part of our regular classic gameplay, because I think they will only help improve that gameplay. And for me, this is really what I love about PUBG Mobile. They are always working on the balance, and it might not look like everyone's in the same boat, but that's fine. Not everyone loves the same stuff, and you got to take the good with the bad. Personally, for me, there's a lot of good coming up in this beta. I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. I mean, it's just nice to get feedback that people love what you do. It's good. Hit me up for the rhythm, for that algorithm, and I'll see you around on the battlefield. Until next time, bye for now.